When I was about to become a father to my now 2-year-old daughter, whose smile is a ray of sunshine, plenty of people gave me this advice or warning. When your daughter is born, you'll never game again. Or the little bit less drastic, you'll barely have any time to play games. My mom, my dad, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, all of my friends, my coworkers, really everyone, even my wife, they were right, in a way. But, and this is going to sound weird, the birth of my precious first daughter only cemented my love for, yes, you guessed it, Path of Exile. I would like to explain why I love Path of Exile as a gamer dad, and I'd like to know if there are others out there like me. Let's delve in. This is my daughter's playhouse in our basement. This is her kitchen, also in our basement. Here is her ball pit in the living room. Here's her dining table in the kitchen. I'm now in her room, filled with more toys than I could ever imagine having as a kid. This is the door to my office, which is always open in case my daughter would like to walk in at night after a nightmare or otherwise. My daughter is truly the center of my life. Everything I and my wife do revolves around her at this point, and we have another arriving any day now. But how does any of this relate to Path of Exile? Well, before my daughter entered the world, I used to play all sorts of games and all sorts of hobbies with my friends, my wife, and randos out there. The games were a lifeline to relaxation. I used to viciously play Dota 2. Yeah, I know. I chilled a ton in Guild Wars 2. I've been playing that game since Head Start. I watched way too much esports and kind of just laid around during chill time, not doing much at all. I also played Path of Exile, and presently, that's the only game I consistently still play. And no, it's not because I make content for it. Instead, it's just the perfect game for me and my family life. The best outlet for me to relax and play outside of exercising when I can. Let me elaborate on why I really love this game as a gamer dad. It really breaks down into 3 clear ideas. It's availability, it's consistency, it's systems. We'll visit all of them by the end of this video and explain what each is important to me, and possibly you. First up, let's explore Path of Exile's availability. Time is a thief. Even though PoE is an online-only game, as someone who lives in the US with full access to internet 99.9% of the time, this bothers me not, as PoE is almost always available. The only real downtime is the swap from one league to the next, and during that time, I'm so giddy and excited for the latest expansion that minute frustration melts away. When I have time to play, I can hop in and instantly do what I'd like. I can blast a few maps, battle a few bosses, try crafting some new items, or perhaps start a new character. Everything is always available to me at any time. Then, with this particular league and the addition of the currency exchange system, this always-on availability sphere is even better, as I don't need to waste extra time trading with players for some basic currency needed to swap around my items. I cannot stress how vital this availability as a game is to me as a gamer dad. If my daughter takes a nap, I can hop on and play for 30 minutes and get some stuff done, maybe a Maven and 3 or 4 maps. I don't need to wait for a certain timer to spawn a special event like in other games, and if she wakes up quicker than usual, I can pop right off without issue. It's not like other people are reliant on me staying in the game to succeed. It's why I almost entirely stopped playing cooperative games even though I loved them. I couldn't afford a 30 to 1 hour long match anymore. I had to be able to hop in and out as I saw fit, and PoE allows me to do just that. And it allows for blasting sessions when I'm able to nab those. I've never really enjoyed single-player games either, so PoE's interconnected feeling and economy really meets all my needs and satisfies me best of any other game out there right now. It's always available right when it needs to be. I'm going to tell you 2 stories. The first one is when I was playing Dota 2 right after my daughter had been born. I was sleeping, it was dead of night, my wife was out doing something with her parents. I decided to play a game of Dota 2. Well, my daughter woke up, screaming, piss fit. She was terrified, very young. But of course, what did I do? I dropped the game of Dota 2, I ran over to her, and I rocked her back to sleep. It took me about 8 minutes, and then I came back and began to play the game again. We'll get back to what happened in a moment. I presume some of you may surmise what occurred. Now, a few months ago, I was doing Maven for the first time. It was last league, it wasn't this league, so it was Necropolis. While I was doing Maven, my daughter woke up, and I instantly just logged out, went back into my hideout, ran over to my daughter, rocked her back to sleep. It took about 12, 13 minutes. She talked to me a little bit about a horrendous nightmare that she had about some dragon eating her. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. She was okay, and I was okay too. I came back to the computer, and I hopped back on. In my Dota game, I had lost the game in those 8 minutes, and I had been reported by my entire team and sent to low priority matchmaking. It was one of the only matches that I'd been reported on, but literally both sides reported me, and none of them understood what I was actually going to do, right? Because I just rushed, didn't say anything. And honestly, I did deserve it. I abandoned the team, and they lost the game, and they were all pissed at me. That made me feel bad, it made them feel bad. It wasted a whole, I think it was a 57-minute game. It was horrendous. It was the last time I played Dota 2. Deservedly so. Then with Maven, well, I lost a portal on Maven, and I just finished out Maven. It was totally fine. Got my Voidstone, moved forward, everything was good. And that really expresses the dichotomy of, always on or available games like PoE that aren't they are multiplayer, but they aren't multiplayer. Other players aren't relying on you. And if you have a kid that does rely on you and you need to hop at any moment, at any time, it's vital that you have a game like this that you so deeply enjoy and can enjoy with others. That's one of the reasons I really love Path of Exile. Next, Path of Exile is almost second to none when it comes to consistency. It is a consistently excellent roller coaster. Some of you may scoff at this, but as someone who has a meticulously planned schedule and calendar, I can almost always rely on when PoE is going to have a big update and what that will look like. I must be able to predict these sort of things as a dad with numerous events and activities whirling around. And thanks to Grinding Gear Games and their consistent planning, even though it has meant lots of 4-month leagues, I can do this reliably. It's huge, and anyone else who likes to plan or has a kid understands this well. For example, when a PoE league is announced, I know what's coming up in the next few weeks. Then, when the league launches, I know I'll reliably be able to play during the weekend, as it almost always launches on time. So I'll need to schedule some plans for my daughter and her grandmas or friends. It's lovely and consistent, and because this game ebbs and flows with updates, I know when everything is coming, and so do the people I trust around me. I am open about my love for this game. Everybody calls me a shill. And I'm a nice dude, not to brag or anything. So when there comes a time when I really want to blast and go full degenerate with my favorite video game, I can do just that. I know some people might again laugh at this and say I need to take charge of my own life and the like, but the fact is, other people rely on me. I take care of them, and when there's something I'd really like to do, they easily return the favor. It's a wonderful life. I get to game reliably, all because of the consistency exhibited by Path of Exile and Grinding Gear Games. Super brief story time number 2. This may sound ridiculous, but I have stories attached to landmarks in my life that are related to Path of Exile with my daughter. The first time that she walked was right around ExileCon and the Trial of the Ancestors launch. It was so wonderful. She'd never walked before, obviously, and we were sitting in the office, and my wife was sitting in a chair over there. I was sitting right here, and she walked back and forth between us as I was waiting in the queue for Trial of the Ancestors. It was just wonderful. And there are so many memories that I have attached to PoE that relate around my daughter, and it's so silly. She's even starting to slay Path of Exile now, and it's just so cool to see someone that you've nurtured from this tiny little human into this 3-foot girl, almost half my size now. It's just phenomenal. And I've been able to do it all while playing my hobby this entire time, essentially, without sacrificing really any of those moments that can play super late, and it's consistently updated with these expansions, and I know when I want to blast or when I'm going to blast and how long I'm going to blast for and all that. I can plan around that, and I think that's vital for a hobby, especially a gaming hobby. If things were more sporadic and erratic, it would be far more difficult to do that. But with Path of Exile, I don't have to worry about it. I can rely on them being consistent. Now, Path of Exile's systems. PoE is a jungle. It's a vast labyrinth as deep as an ocean and as alive as you and me. Legions of players claim PoE isn't a game for casuals. I beg to differ. Instead, I'd lobby that PoE isn't a game for those who would like challenge, complexity, and depth during their gaming time. It is 100% a game for those who would like to be rewarded for investment, not just in terms of in-game item rewards, but long-term account-based rewards and incredible knowledge-based rewards too. Every single system in the game builds on this and rewards me, someone who only has time for a game that is always available for online play, consistently updated, and deep enough for someone like me to dig ever deeper into its diamond mines and learn something new every play session. Layered on top of this, none of the systems are necessarily time-based or require you to do them daily or weekly. Additionally, the league or season system resets everyone to the same level every 3 or 4 months, which is awesome. I'm never really that behind many other players. Sure, there are people who are eons ahead of me, but there's plenty of room for me to play and make an impact. Don't laugh now, I am serious here. PoE's systems respect your time, but they challenge you. Most bosses are deterministic nowadays, but if you're bad and fail them or don't sell them, you lose out. Pick any mechanic you like. They're all respectful of your time when you're in or out of game. The only argument I can see against this now is the current Settlers of Kalgur mechanic, but even that, when managed properly, is a non-factor and simply acts as yet another reward layer if utilized properly. Alright, last time I'm sitting with this silly background right here, fire next to me. I just never stop being fascinated by Path of Exile, and it keeps that childlike spirit of always learning in me. I love that. And that's something that I see budding within my daughter right now. Every single thing that I say, every single book I read, or if we watch a show, she'll ask, why is that the way it is? What's going on there? But why? She always wants to know more. She's so curious. And as I watched her grow and essentially become super inquisitive, I realized that's exactly the type of value that Path of Exile systems imbue within me. I'm constantly asking, why is it like this? Well, how can I do this better? Well, how does this work with that? It's wonderful, and it keeps my mind alive and running, even when I'm doing something that is obviously a relaxing activity for me. And that's yet another reason why I love Path of Exile as a gamer dad. All those people who told me gaming was over when I became a dad were wrong. Everyone has their own hobby, or they should. Some people watch TV, others read. I try to do a little bit of everything with a big focus on playing my favorite game, which is perfect for me as a dad. I think this funny tweet exemplifies everything I'm talking about here. How some people see gaming and gamer dads. How people are very passionate about a certain thing, and they enjoy it so much that they'll dedicate a lot of time to it. What other people don't realize is games are just like other hobbies. They're like running, they're like watching TV, reading books, just chilling around the house. They're just a hobby. That's all they are. People do them to relax and have a great time. That's it. PoE is always there for me if I have time to play it. Updates are predictable, so is scheduling on my end. Its systems aren't simple, but they reward investment and constantly allow you to become better and better at the game, which is something I love. I love being inquisitive. I try to be the best dad I can, but I also know I need to game sometimes, and due to how it's run and expanded, Path of Exile is the perfect game for me. Until Path of Exile 2 comes, and then I'm roaring onto the degeneracy train and never taking care of any member of my family again, and only playing Path of Exile 2. Just as I know all of you will do. So that's why I love Path of Exile as a gamer dad. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree? Gamer dads, non-dads, dog dads, moms, whatever. I would like to hear your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you liked it, and subscribe to Talkative Try for more PoE 1 and PoE 2 content. Talakura, my fellow exile.